Hello and welcome to another episode of UFO Video Addicts. Let me give you a quick preview of what I got coming up in this video. The first is this UFO that was taken in a city. Not too sure what city this was, but I also found this video. This is actually an old video that I remembered from years ago. I thought I would include it. It hasn't been seen in a while. I got another video here of this strange UFO. This is a video of the Kinross UFO incident where a F-89 pilot goes missing after he chases a UFO. This video is about the first ion drive engine. You know, this is a no moving parts. I mean, it didn't really fly that far, but it's a start. So yeah, they're definitely bringing this up. But I'm pretty sure our military already has anti-gravity. They've defeated gravity years ago. Let's see. This is a interesting video about a man who's claiming to be from Saturn, and like I says, files a lawsuit against the federal government. I thought this was just kind of funny, ridiculous, whatever you want to call it, but interesting. This article is about declassified documents that reveal the U.S. spent millions on wormholes, Stargate, and UFO research. So, like most people already know, I mean, our government has been lying to us. I don't think there's too many people who aren't aware of that at this point. Let's see. This is an article from Collective Evolution. Nobel Prize winning co-discoverer of DNA says our genes were brought here by extraterrestrials. I think some of us, I don't know about all of us. Let's see. And then last, I have this story. Sacha Christie, infomaniac housewife, investigator, agenda bender, truth finder, writer, yada yada. This is about a group close encounter of UFO landings in Wales, February 1977. Just an interesting article. And I might actually do an audio read of this and just create a video of this entire story. I thought it was kind of interesting. So let me go to the first one. What in the world is this? Okay, so let me go full screen on this. And again, these videos I can't play too much of. Let me turn this video down here. Look at this thing. You can see this thing is trying to hide in the clouds. I wonder where the person is filming this from. Is this from a plane or a helicopter or something? Or from a high building maybe? Yeah, like would this be from a building? And would anyone know what city this is? It doesn't say anywhere in the description. Anyways, I'll leave a link in the description. So now this video came out like in 2008. I remember when it came out, it was actually used in between commercials for the Sci-Fi Channel. And the backstory that I remember hearing, it's kind of gossipy, but this woman supposedly wasn't supposed to be in the helicopter with the guy that she was in the helicopter with. So not too sure if there's any truth to that or if it's just part of the cover-up. But take a look at this video anyways. It's definitely interesting. So yeah, they're taking a helicopter ride, and you can see this is the Twin Towers. So this was way before the 9/11 incident. And then, right there where it ends, it would cut to a Sci-Fi Channel promo. But, there's a lot of people that have analyzed this footage, and basically it comes down to their conclusion is that this thing is the Sportster model that Bob Lazar spoke about. It's one of ours, U.S. military, but this is uses some kind of a gravity amplification system. But anyways, I'll leave a link to this video in the description. Let me go to the next video. Yeah, this video, I can only play a real short portion of it because this guy's, I think they're licensed or something. But, I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, let me just play you a quick preview so you can see, what's going on. And, essentially the whole video is that. It's just, and I think we just get kind of a close-up of it. Yeah, this is, not necessarily, UFO. It could just be, it could be explainable. I'm not too sure, but I will leave a link in the description. You can check it out. This we'll have to listen to here. This is a creepy missing F-18 pilot, the Kinross incident. I think this is, let me start it right about here.
70 miles away from Keweenaw Point and 160 miles to the northwest of Sioux Locks, the Scorpion intercepted the radar return on screen. The radar operators stared attentively at their equipment, waiting for radio communication and confirmation, but the Scorpion was not to be heard from again. The two dots on the radar met and converged. Only one dot was left on the radar, as the radar return from the Scorpion unexpectedly vanished. As stated in the official report, quote, "At approximately 23:52 Zebra, the last radio contact was made by the radar station controlling the interception. At approximately 23:55 Zebra, the unknown aircraft and the F-89 merged together in the radar scope. Shortly thereafter, the IFF signal disappeared from the radar scope. No further contact was established with the F-89. The official report also claims that, quote, "The radar return from the other aircraft indicated it was continuing on its original flight path, while the return from the F-89 disappeared from the GCI station's radar scope. It's been reported, however, that the unknown aircraft actually soon vanished from the range of the radar at great speed, be it by flying off into the distance or flying upwards."
If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you've also watched all of the UFO shows on all the cable networks. And, how many of these shows do they talk about pilots, whether they're passenger pilots or military pilots, encountering UFOs? And I don't believe all of the encounters are from visitors from outer space. I mean, I firmly believe that a lot of these encounters that we're having are from, our neighbors. There has to be several highly advanced species on this planet that are piloting all of these UFOs that we keep seeing. But anyways, let me go on to this video here. This isn't UFO related, but this guy here, I guess it's from 2018, created an ion drive engine. No moving parts. I mean, it doesn't go that far, but just take a look at it here.
Well, the idea is kind of, it dates back until at least the 1920s, where a eccentric inventor at the time started experimenting with high voltage electrodes and thought he had discovered anti-gravity, which of course was not the case, but that set some of the initial groundwork on mechanisms for creating what's called an ionic wind in the atmosphere by having high voltage electrodes ionizing air and then accelerating the ionized air. So what we did for this design is to try and stick to something that looks somewhat like a conventional aircraft, but under the wing, rather than conventional engines, it has a series of electrodes, and those consist of an array of very thin wires at the front and then an array of aerofoils at the back. Now those thin wires at the front are set at a very high voltage, plus 20,000 volts, and that constitutes the source of ions. This is ionized nitrogen from the atmosphere. Now the aerofoils at the back, they're set at minus 20,000 volts, and so that creates an electric field. So the ions go from the positive to the negative, colliding all the way with neutral air molecules and creating this wind that goes behind the plane. And that's essentially how it flies.
Very interesting. But, I'm sure, this came out in 2018. Our military is definitely way more advanced than this. This is just what's in the public. So anyways, let me go on to this next video here. This is a kind of a crazy video. This man claiming to be from Saturn files lawsuit against the federal government.
Filed against the United States federal government last week. At least one North Texas resident is from Saturn. The suit was filed on Friday, December 18th, by Allen resident Rickia Collings in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Texas, Sherman Division. It claims that the plaintiff, who is allegedly from the sixth planet of our solar system, is the victim of an employment discrimination violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. While also asserting that Collings self-identifies as Capricornus and Ra the sun god, the suit appears to allege that the plaintiff is being held against their will on Earth by the United States government and that the federal government has also prevented them from earning gainful employment from July 4, 1776, through the date of the filing. The United Nations and the United Kingdom also seem to have been listed alongside the United States of America as CO defendants.
Wow, does that look like the handwriting of an alien? Or, maybe he's been naturalized. Anyways, let me go on to this next article here. Declassified documents reveal the U.S. spent millions on wormhole, Stargate, and UFO research. Nuclear-powered deep space propulsion, invisibility cloaking, wormholes through space, biomaterials. Recently declassified papers reveal that the United States government has spent millions of dollars researching wormholes, invisibility cloaks, and laser-powered weapons in a previously unknown top-secret program. They were just some of the many projects the government researched in the past. In fact, the recently published documents reveal as many as 38 top-secret government projects that have remained classified until now. Well, it just says they did research on it. Doesn't mean they actually created these things. Among the most interesting projects, the government investigated the possibility of wormhole travel and high-energy laser weapons and UFOs. Well, they've already put out articles where our scientists have found the superhighways that allow them to travel faster than light. The documents were revealed to the general public after the Defense Intelligence Agency released the project list in response to a Freedom of Information request. Listen, look at this. According to the government list, an invisibility cloak also doesn't sound like a bad idea and worth investigating. Yeah, it's just that they investigated it. It doesn't necessarily say they made these things. But anyways, let me go on to this next article here. Nobel Prize winning co-discoverer of DNA says our genes were brought here by extraterrestrials. Francis Crick was an English scientist who was most noted for being a co-discoverer of the structure of the DNA molecule in 1953 alongside James D. Watson. Francis Crick Watson and Maurice Wilkins were jointly awarded the 1962 Nobel Prize for Physiology for Medicine for their discoveries concerning the molecular structure of nucleic acids and its significance for information transfer in living materials. He was clearly a brilliant scientist who, unfortunately, like many other brilliant minds who came up with theories that challenged the accepted framework at the time, wasn't given much press. Let's see. Their theory explains that organisms were deliberately transmitted to Earth by intelligent beings on another planet. We concluded that it is possible that life reached the Earth in this way, but that the scientific evidence is inadequate at the present time to say anything about the possibility. We draw attention to the kinds of evidence that might throw additional light on the topic. In his book, published in 1982, Life Itself, he argues that there is no possible way the DNA molecule could have gotten its start here on Earth and that it had to have come here from somewhere else. Within the mainstream scientific community, the generally accepted theory is that we are the result of a bunch of molecules accidentally bumping into each other, creating life. However, according to Francis, we are the result of what is now known as directed panspermia. Crick and a British chemist, Leslie Origo, published their paper on it in July of 1973. Yeah, I've looked at the human timeline, like the evolution chart. And first of all, I think that thing is mislabeled because I don't see evolution on that chart. I see a bunch of species going extinct. All those lines basically come to a terminal ending, which indicates extinction to me. And if you also look at the Homo sapien, or the bones of Homo sapiens in the fossil record, we only go back maybe 150 to 250,000 years. And, before that, you don't find our bones in the fossil record. The way I look at it, 250,000 years at the most, that doesn't give enough time to develop all of the different races that are here on the planet. And another thing is, when races come together, they blend. And I don't see, and I don't think there's ever been any evidence in the fossil record of one race giving birth to another race, and even if this notion of a gradual process, well, where are those intermediary models? I don't know. I just think that's strange. But let me go on to this last article here. This is Sacha Christie, Infomaniac Housewife. A group close encounter, UFO landing in Wales, February 1997. 21 years ago, on the 4th February, I had an encounter with a group of friends in Wales. We saw 2 UFOs. One of them landed. Every February, I get the anniversary jitters. I hate this week. I feel it coming before I even know the date. It's like some internal alarm goes off. I remember one weekend about 7 years ago having a total breakdown over it at a crisis center. Let me get to where she talks about the UFO. So I am looking out, but I couldn't see anything for a while. He continued to point. I followed his finger, trying to catch on to his line of sight. Then I see it, a little squiggle of light. It came on and went off. I immediately said, "It's lightning." He said, "It's not. Watch it." So I stood and looked and watched. Sure enough, the lightning came back on again and went off, then back on again and off. After I saw the lights a few times, it became obvious whatever it was had a very uniform pattern to the way it lit up, and it was moving away from us towards Merseyside. We were in North Wales, 5 miles from Berwyn. After some minutes, maybe 5 minutes, it stopped. It stayed where it was, but the flickering remained the same. After another minute or so, we saw that it looked bigger than before. It was just a tiny flicker before. Now it looked larger and brighter. It was then in a completely different place. It had moved in a diagonal motion towards us. Then it moved in a diagonal motion away from us, then again towards us. It repeated this as it slowly zigzagged toward us. Well, you know what? That is all I'm going to read of this. I'm probably going to do just a separate video of this whole thing. So I'm going to end this video here. If you like things like this, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'll have more things like this. Take care.